Hey guys, so video's gonna start at 10 o'clock. I'm starting this video a little early to let people gather in. I know this is the most anticipated kind of story of the week here. We're gonna get into part 2 of Danny Masterson, but until we're ready to start here, I hope everyone's having a good day. This is that. I hope I got the. Okay. I don't know if I put the privacy settings right or not on this. Hi guys. I hope everyone's doing well. I see you guys filing in. I am doing well. How are you doing, Helen? I'm going to start the video here in a few minutes. I'm going to let some people gather in, and then we will start today's video. I hope everybody is doing well. Today we are going to talk about Danny Masterson and the art of keeping a victim silent. So we're going to let some more people gather in. So I do want to say before I start this video, the Church of Scientology and Danny Masterson obviously deny all the allegations I'm going to talk about today. Hi guys. There are a few terms in here that I will use that maybe you guys don't understand. And if that is the case, just please write a question in there if you don't know something, and I will do my best to answer it as I see them. But I want to mainly stick to my script here. And alright, I'm going to start now, guys. I hope everyone's having a good night. Alright, let's get started here on this part 2 of Danny Masterson. Alright, tonight is a follow-up on last week's Danny Masterson story. Last week I described the allegations brought on by 3 women that Masterson had been charged with raping. He is charged with 3 counts of felony rape. Sexual assault and sodomy charges were not filed because of the statute of limitations. That in itself is bad enough, but what makes this case worse is the alleged active cover-up by the Church of Scientology. The Church of Scientology is not new to scandals, though. Since its inception in 1955, 5 years after famed science fiction and pulp fiction author L. Ron Hubbard published his first self-help book, Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health. Dianetics self-help groups quickly began to form across the country. It wasn't long after the church was founded. In 1955, the church got its first official building in Washington, D.C. Originally called the Scientology Academy, it is now called the Hubbard House and acts as a museum to the legacy of L. Ron Hubbard. Dianetics spells out the basic principles of Scientology that you build upon as you ascend what they call the bridge to total freedom. It is in Dianetics that you first go through auditing. Auditing is defined as the application of Dianetic techniques to raise tone and increase perception and memory. The ultimate goal of auditing is to free yourself from your reactive mind, which is defined as the portions of the mind which files and retains physical pain and painful emotions and seeks to direct the organism solely on a stimulus-response basis. It thinks only in identities. I define these terms for you because they are key to understanding the mindset of Masterson and at least 2 of his victims. The claims of these victims is that Scientology actively assisted in keeping them quiet through auditing and ethics programs within the church. They also claim they were being followed by private eyes paid for or from the church. One woman even claims they poisoned her dog. The first person we will look at is labeled Victim B in the reports. She got raped by Masterson April 25th of 2003. At a house party, Danny Masterson was DJing. This was also Masterson's house. A witness said Masterson's publicist, Jenny Wayneman, had brought the victim to the party. The witness said Masterson made the victim drink and practically forced it on her. Later in that night, Masterson announced to the whole party that the victim was going for a swim and tossed her in the pool. The witness claims to have kept Masterson from trying to force the victim to his bedroom while she was drying off. Later that night, the victim woke up to Masterson having sex with her. When she tried to fight him off, he choked her until she passed out. When she finally came to, she ran out of the room terrified, yelling frantically, "Oh my God, Danny raped me." After the whole ordeal, the party guests, which were all Scientologist witness reports, wrote this off as her being drunk, saying, "Oh, she just had too much to drink. She just needs to sleep it off." They reportedly laid her down in Danny's room to sleep it off. That wasn't the most horrifying thing, though. The worst of it came in the following weeks and months. The witness had said she was told the victim was being handled, which means she was in ethics and undergoing heavy auditing, a core belief in Scientology. A core belief in Scientology is everything bad that happens to you, and yes, that includes rape, is brought onto you by your own doing. The day after Christmas of 2003, ethics officer Julianne Schwartz, put the victim under a non-interpolation order, which is one step away from being declared a suppressive person and being excommunicated from the church. Over the next 3 months, she had to report daily to the Celebrity Center, undergoing intensive auditing and sec checks or intensive interrogation, and it cost her about $15,000 for these past life therapies and interrogations. A sec check is a form of interrogation developed by L. Ron Hubbard in 1960. It involves an ethics officer probing thoughts, attitudes, and behavior of an individual by asking a large number of questions. The bulk of the questions deal with criminal or sexual activity or intentions, or other things that the interviewee might be ashamed of. The questions also probe for negative thoughts on the Church of Scientology or on L. Ron Hubbard himself. After one of these sessions, victim B ran into a friend of hers, Laura Prepperon, who played Donna in that '70s show. Prepperon reportedly asked her, "Why are you at CC? What are you doing here? Why aren't you hanging out with the crowd?" A family friend said Prepperon knew exactly what was going on. The victim had to act chipper, like nothing was wrong. Otherwise, Prepperon would have reported the victim for being out ethics. Prepperon even asked the victim if she was upset about her and Danny Masterson's misunderstanding. A question she already knew the answer to, as gossip travels fast within the church. But I cannot stress this enough. Rape is not a misunderstanding. Sorry. A victim said it was not normal for Prepperon to act like this. A witness says Prepperon was sent to get into the victim's head to trip her up. She was believed to be sent by Masterson, since the victim had avoided him since the auditing and sec checks have started. Until her and Danny were put in a room so she could confront Masterson, which he laughed in her face when she did so. On June 6, 2004, the victim filed a police report. In August, a church attorney brought the victim a handwritten letter of apology from Masterson, then asked her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. She signed because the church would have had her declared a suppressive person and thereby excommunicated her from her friends and family within the church if she had refused. A month before that, Scientology had bombarded LAPD with phone calls and with affidavits by witnesses to go against the victim's version of events. The other victim was 6-year girlfriend of Masterson's, Chrissy Blixer. She claims that in December of 2001, while she was unconscious and Masterson had anally raped her and injured her. She said she was bleeding from the anus. When she confronted him, he said that he had sex with her anus and had laughed in her face. She says she couldn't report Masterson out of fear of being declared a suppressive person. When she went to the church about her rape, she was punished for being victimized. Blixer was put on a costly ethics program, which came with heavy auditing and sec checks. Blixer left Masterson 2 months after, and the church shortly thereafter that. Blixer was silent until 2017, when she found out she wasn't the only victim. Reaching out to former Scientologist turned activist Leah Remini, Blixer claims to have been stalked by Masterson and the church, which is not unusual when people are speaking out against Scientology. There are literally hundreds of videos of Scientology harassing critics and journalists alike. Blixer claims either the church or Masterson had poisoned her dog, resulting in its death. In Scientology's world, this is justified by L. Ron Hubbard's fair game doctrine. It describes policies and practices carried out by the church on anyone it deems harmful to Scientology. The doctrine was made in the 1950s, but in 1968, Scientology says it was canceled and replaced by the ethics order. However, many defectors many defectors say it was never stopped. In 2 subsequent court cases, Scientology claimed it was a core practice of the church and claimed, therefore, their actions are protected by religious expression. This was a perfect storm of a high-controlled religion that is very secretive and structured and isolated. It provides the perfect place for a person of high power to do as they please. Masterson had no doubt figured out it would be hard for the victims to come forward. Masterson and the church deny all of these claims, calling them baseless and ridiculous. Masterson is now following in the footsteps of many other Hollywood's disgraced actors and directors, looking at 45 years to life in prison for the 3 felony rape charges, along with an ongoing investigation investigating up to 7 different rape allegations. So there you have it. Danny Masterson used the Church of Scientology to silence his victims, which is nothing unheard of. We've seen this happen with the Catholic Church. We've seen this happen with Jehovah's Witnesses, with the Mormons, with almost every high-control religion we have seen this happen. And I think we have to ask ourselves, why does this happen within high-control religions? Why are these people covering up? And it's to protect their religion. Scientology has a doctrine, maybe you guys know this, maybe you guys don't, called KSW, Keeping Scientology Working. The ultimate goal of Scientology and Scientologists is to expand Scientology's reach and to save the world, as they put it. Now, I am by no means an expert in Scientology, obviously. I am just a person who likes to read. However, this Danny Masterson case is very disturbing in a lot of different ways. And I know this is my second video on the topic, and there will be more to follow because there's so much there. Guys, it's sad. It really is. I mean, nobody should ever feel like they have no one to turn to when something bad happens. No one should ever feel like if they come forward about something that happened to them, that their family and friends will completely get rid of them out of their life. Being declared a suppressive person in the Church of Scientology is like being declared an apostate in the Jehovah's Witness Church. In that you are an apostate in the Jehovah's Witness Church, you are basically the mark of the devil. Well, in Scientology, if you are declared a suppressive person, you are viewed as mentally ill and therefore unsavable. The Church of Scientology has some messed up beliefs that no doubt helped Danny Masterson silence his victims. And I think that's something we have to look forward to. Now, there is a civil case. There is a criminal trial, obviously. And if Masterson's convicted of rape, then there will probably be another civil trial where they can actually sue him for the rape itself. But right now, they're just suing him for harassment and stalking, I believe, along with the church. So we're going to keep diving into this, guys. I know there's a lot of different aspects of this to dive into, and I haven't touched on the 4 victims that are not mentioned in any of the police reports, and I will do that. Like I said earlier, Danny Masterson and the Church of Scientology and Laura Pepperon, they all deny all of these claims. Laura Pepperon has actually gone as far to try to distance herself in recent years. I never said I was the judge. But yeah, guys, so basically, the claim, you know, a criminal trial is going on, and he will be given due process like anyone else. I believe he has the old Michael Jackson's old lawyer as his criminal attorney. So, you know, he's definitely not, you know, he has money, so he's going to fight this, obviously. What's really sad is that I have yet to see any news channel covering this. Or no, well, some news channels have covered it. Some of my sources here are the Washington Post, ABC News, USA Today. But a bulk of it comes from Tony Ortega's blog. Tony Ortega's blog is called The Underground Bunker. You can actually read a lot about Masterson and a bunch of the other Scientology scandals in the, on Ortega's blog. Ortega has dedicated his life to exposing the Church of Scientology. I think he's even written 3 or 4 books on it. But alright guys, I don't know who this Jerry Odell guy is, but he obviously... whatever. I don't know who he thinks he is. But alright guys, you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys learned something here. I'm going to keep covering this case, and tomorrow we will talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses and how they've been covering up sex abusers and how they've been paying, I think, over millions of, I don't know how much money, but it's tens of millions of dollars in fines already, I believe, to the Australian government for protecting these child sex predators. So we'll get into that tomorrow. Friday night, we're going to go lighter, Julian Assange. I still don't know what I want to do on Saturday. I'll probably figure that out at some point tonight. I love you guys. You guys have a great night. I will talk to you later.